Mohammed Abu-Nimer is a professor of peace and conflict resolution at American University. He joins me now live from Washington. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. So right now, everything is basically in Netanyahu's favor domestically. He has been able to get the ratification on his Gaza occupation plan from his security cabinet. And there's little to no opposition to that plan from within his close circle. So why would he agree to a ceasefire now?
I think the El Qasim from Jerusalem, your correspondent, precisely, listed the several factors that put the pressure on Netanyahu. The strike, the economic strike that really had impact on the Israeli public and the market economy, as well as the 500,000 Israeli going to the street. But also in general, the international community, so many countries have voiced against this plan, and including Arab countries in the Gulf, as well as Egypt and others. And I know in the past he did not listen to any of that. Unfortunately, the primary party who could influence him is President Trump, and unfortunately President Trump on Monday, through social media posting, he endorsed at least one condition of Netanyahu, which is the total destruction of Hamas, what Netanyahu called comprehensive. I am with the opinion that Netanyahu doing the flip-flop whenever Hamas finally agreed to the proposal that the Israelis themselves have put forward, and Witkoff just brought it back to the table. Now Netanyahu is in a position where either he accept or flip again, and I think he's in the process of flipping again and going through the ideology of a greater Israel, as he declared about a week ago or a few days ago. He cannot be trusted, but I think the more domestic scene and development, if there is more escalation in the protest inside Israel, he will have to make a decision probably by early next week. But he continues to bring in the military reserve, and even I think advanced it about 3-4 days earlier.
Right, and Professor, certainly there are many other angles to look at here right now as well, because see, this is what I'm looking at. If you look at the developments that have taken place in the region with the involvement of Israel and Israeli attacks across the region, why is this ceasefire being portrayed as something that is going to end the suffering of the Palestinians in Gaza? Because we know Israel has violated multiple ceasefire agreements time and time again, not just in Gaza, but also in Lebanon and across the region. So let's assume for a second, even if there's a ceasefire in Gaza right now, agreed by Israel, what's the guarantee that Israel is going to stop attacking Palestinians? Because I think we know it's a fact now that Israel, under the leadership of Netanyahu, has no respect for international law or United Nations Security Council resolutions.
And that's precisely the reason why Hamas insisted that this will not be a 60 days or 30 days or 70 days. They ask for permanent ceasefire and end of the war. But again, I think Hamas also is under the pressure of the starvation, under the pressure of the total siege, and also, to be very clear, under the threat of having the Israeli army entering into the 1 million people in Gaza City and causing more destruction and more suffering and more starvation. I mean, after all, there are 1.8 million Palestinians whose Hamas are accountable for them in some ways. And I think finally Hamas said, okay, I'm going to prove to you that Netanyahu has no intention of stopping this war. I'm going to agree to this partial 60 days. And they know, as they declare, we know that he cannot be trusted. And as you said, he has violated the first ceasefire and resumed the fighting, and there was no negotiation on the end of the war. But again, this is the reality where the military might of Israel have put the situation, and this is what Hamas and the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza are dealing with: genocide, displacement, starvation, or accepting this bad deal in order to just put some pressure on Netanyahu domestically and internationally. He might actually agree to having 600 trucks going in every day just to respond to the starvation. But I totally agree with you. There is no way except Trump. There's only Trump and American foreign policy arm that can influence Netanyahu and force him to accept end of the war and accept a deal that really will be a beginning of more stable peace in the region.
Professor Mohammed Abu-Nimer, thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.
Thank you.